Peace be with you all. Welcome back to AnestiTV. Today I'm going to be kind of talking about my new job a little bit, just the store itself, because I work in a store and it's quite interesting. It's a Christian book and education store, and I found out something quite out of place about it and what they sell. And I noticed that they sell Jewish things, things like kippahs and Stars of David and all this kind of thing. Now, it's not necessarily a problem or anything, but when you call yourself a Christian bookstore, you'd think there would be no Jewish things. It would be like there being Islamic things, like the Quran, which there isn't in that store. I've checked. But they do have Jewish stuff and things like merchandise, like I said, kippahs and Stars of David. They have the horn thing, the shofar, I think is what it's called, which is very bizarre to see. I think they might have prayer shawls as well. And I know exactly why that the store carries these things, and it is odd in and of itself, but I understand why it is. And the reason is that there are people called Zionist Christians who adhere to Christian Zionism, as the name suggests, which means that they believe strongly in the state of Israel. And for a Christian to have those views is quite odd, in that back during the apostolic times, if you will, in the scriptural times, the New Testament was being lived out, the book of Acts. There is a time when the Christians, the new Christians who were Jewish before, who were Jews, they thought that they would carry on their Jewish identity and practices. And Paul famously said that that wasn't the way to do it. And so there was what people call the Judaizers and the controversy surrounding that. And it covered a lot of topics from circumcision to dietary things, the things that the ancient Israelites, and as is put forth in the Old Testament, were required to do. And so what ended up happening is that there was a ruling against all that, and thus a sort of division between Jews and Christians started, and continues to this day, until there was some Christian Zionist movement that started to rise up in the evangelical community. And you may be familiar with the popular people in this movement, such as John Hagee. I have talked about him on this channel before, but there's an image in my mind. I saw a sermon he gave, in which he wore a prayer shawl. It was about the prayer shawl, and apparently Christians should be using the prayer shawl, the Jewish prayer shawl, which has nothing to do with the Orthodox life, if you will, a Christian life. It's completely Jewish. You'll see that in the Orthodox Jewish community. or the ultra Orthodox and even the Reformed Jews, it's a Jewish prayer shawl, and he ties in some references to it to kind of talk about the power of the prayer shawl. So I saw that, and I know somebody who has the horn and a prayer shawl, actually. It's very bizarre to me because there's no real reason for why a Christian should be, I guess, moving towards that Jewish identity or strong support of Israel, even, because it's not the church. It's not what Christ started, and it's not what Christ was ultimately about, because he definitely went against the Jews of his time, the Pharisees, and in their teachings he refuted what they were all about, and so they were kind of the Orthodox Jews of the day. There were other groups that had different emphases, but ultimately the Lord wasn't popular with the Jews, the people who should have been all for him. So to kind of have this obsession with Israel, or even using prayer shawls which aren't, I guess, akin to your own tradition, it's almost a cultural appropriation, and it, in my opinion, it's just silly and wrong. But anyway, that's kind of a bit of what I think about that and my store carrying a Jewish section. I find it very bizarre, but I will talk about Christian Zionism some other time when I have more time. But for now, that will be all. So thanks for watching, and do a little research yourself, and have a good day.